I now hand over to Karnette to start the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. And I join Elizabeth in welcoming you all to our webinar today. As was mentioned earlier, my name is Karnette Bachelor Evering. I am from the parish of Portland, which is in Jamaica. And I think you should know by now that Jamaica is a small, beautiful island in the Caribbean. I have been a teacher of home economics for about 18 years at Gainstead High School, which is in Kingston, which is the capital city of Jamaica. I was recently awarded the status of master teacher in home economics by one of our agencies, the Jamaica Teaching Council. And I'm very privileged, very honored to be sharing with you this afternoon. Lisa and I will be going through some tips, some pointers as we all try to navigate this new normal that we are experiencing. So sit back, relax, not relax too much, but there will be stuff for you to do. So I hope that you will enjoy, you will participate, and most importantly, you will be empowered, be encouraged as we go through today. Also, feel free to drop your questions or your comments, your concerns in the chat box, and we will do our very best to try and respond to them. Before I start what I have really planned to share with you, we have a little activity for you to do. So if you're ready for this activity, I'd like for you to put 1 in the chat. Yes, I am ready. If you're not too sure that you're ready because maybe you're a bit tired, maybe hungry, a long day, and you're not too sure, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. And if you're not ready at all, you just can't be bothered, you don't know why you're here, then put a 3 in the chat. And I am watching the chat to see what okay. I'm even seeing 1. Is that 11 or is it just to indicate that you're really, really ready? I think it means that you're really, really ready. All right, so I'm seeing the numbers popping in the chat. Now, even though it's pretty much at the end of the work day or getting there, let's see how active your brains are at this time of the day. So I'm gonna be bringing up an image, maybe some words, and I'd like for you to tell me what popular or what common phrase or statement this is representing. So here's our first one. Feel free to put it in the chat, and Ina and the other organizers will share with us the responses as they come in. Let me see if you understand what you're supposed to do first. If not, I will share the answer to the first one so you can get the hang of it. So this is our first, Rihanna Lutz, I see that. But check it again, check again. You're very close, but look at the word. So I'll bring up the answer real quickly and you'll see where you made that little bitty mistake. There we go. And I see Catherine who quickly jumped in and Rihanna made her correction. So there we go, misunderstood. I think I went a little bit too fast. Right, misunderstood. All right, great. So we have now got the hang of it. So let's go to the second one. There we go, 10 seconds. Na, 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 na. Not power walk. Come again, Rihanna. Who can be walk in the park? That's right, Catherine, Caitlin, and Rihanna, park walk. No, so it's a walk in the park. All right, let's see this one now. Da, na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Nobody? Let's see. You see, used. No. Look at it again, Rihanna. You have a part of it. You have a part of it, Rihanna. Come again. Let's see. 5 more seconds, then I will reveal the answer. 5. Ah, there we go, Jenny. Jenny, you got that right. I see you understand. That's correct. All right, next one. Sasha, Joyce. All right, we're on to the next one. Let me wait a little bit then. You're under arrest. Yes, Jenny and Caitlin, you are so correct. You are under arrest. I hope you are not. All right. This one is very easy. We usually say this to our friends or persons who probably did something. Very good. How do I say? Annalie, I'll take that part of your name. Caitlin, good. Vorster, C. Vorster, good. 1 in a million. Very good, very good. And we're winding down. Yes, Pasha Joyce, I see you. And Go Polang. Yes, I see you. All right, here we go with another popular one. It's even in a song. Is it under? Yes, Caitlin, you got it right. Somewhere over, not somewhere under. All right, and I see Ismari, Cornelia, and Rihanna. Wonderful. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. All right. How about this one? I'm pretty sure some of you would have made this before or taught your students. I see Makoshi. There we go. Adri, upside down pineapple cake. Well, maybe that's how you say it. In the Caribbean, we say it another way. So let me see if there's anyone else who will say it the way we say it in the Caribbean. We say it the other way around, Pasha Joyce. Let me see. Yes. You may need to log out and come back in, Makopo. All right, so in the Caribbean, we say this the other way around. So we call this pineapple upside down cake. All right, so but the idea is pretty much the same. So we say pineapple upside down cake. All right, another easy one. Easy. Let's go. There we go. Rihanna is on it. Caitlin is on it. Come on, man. Caitlin and Rihanna seem to have fast fingers, quick fingers. Katharina, I see you. Cross country. Wonderful. Pasha Joyce. Oh, Nobi, I see you stand. All right, we passed that one already though. We're on to cross country. Coming down. I see you, Nalosh. All right. Cross country. Okay, next one. Is it on? Very good. Caitlin, I see you. Adrina, Lush, Cornelia. Very good. This one was pretty easy, right? Half baked. There we go, half baked. And our final one, which is probably the easiest of them all. Nobi, you're still at that one. All right, I see some responses coming in. I see them coming in. I see only 2 persons getting it right so far. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And of course, Ismari, Nalosh, Adri, Rihanna, you are all correct by saying apple pie. Wonderful. Now, this is a quick and easy way that you can also get your students engaged in your introductory activity. This is an introductory activity that you can do. You could use material or clues that relate to the topic that you're going to be teaching, as well as they can just be random things just to grab the attention of your students before you get into the delivery of the content. I thank you very much for sharing your responses and for participating. Now, for those of you who have relatives in the Caribbean, or you've been in the Caribbean, you have read materials from the Caribbean, you probably would know that a lot of our beliefs, a lot of our folklore are somewhat surrounded by lots of nursery rhymes. I don't know if you are familiar with this one. If you are, you can just give me a 1 in the chat to say yes. There's this one called Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet. Ah, I see Renata knows that one. Anybody else knows Little Miss Muffet? Jenny knows it too. Excellent. Ah, I cannot believe it. Very good. All right, so maybe you can share with us then what happened to Little Miss Muffet. So we know that initially Little Miss Muffet was sitting on her tuffet. And we won't talk about what the tuffet is right now. She was sitting on her tuffet, eating her what and what? Eating her curds and whey. And of course, this is another foods lesson that we're teaching, right? I see you chiming in. Very good, very good. And as the nursery rhyme would continue, it tells us that Little Miss Muffet was comfortably sitting and eating. And then out of nowhere came this spider, sat right beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Now, were you sitting comfortably on your chair at work, on your stool in the lab, or in the lobby, in the staff lounge, when all of a sudden COVID came? Could we liken the spider to the COVID-19 pandemic? Quick question to you as you ponder that. Why do you think Little Miss Muffet was so frightened? What could be some of the reasons for her being so frightened? Let me hear your thoughts. Why do you think Little Miss Muffet was so frightened? And I'm watching the chat. Watching the chat. And of course, we know there could be several reasons, but let me hear your thoughts. I don't know, Ina, can they raise hand and speak? Any thoughts? Okay. Nobi says maybe she was afraid of being bitten by the spider. Okay, very good. And we know bites are not pleasant feelings, right? Good. Okay, the spider scared her. Maybe she doesn't like spiders. There we go. That's Katharina. And Jenny says, does not know whether the spider is poisonous. There we go. There we go. And we're getting somewhere. So it could also be, as you're typing, the fact that maybe it was the first time she was seeing this creature. Could it be? Because you know how we are afraid or scared of the unknown. So there are a number of reasons that Little Miss Muffet could have been so frightened by this spider. No. Were you frightened by this COVID-19 pandemic? Or maybe some of us are even still frightened. No, though we are not in the same geographical location, I'm here to encourage you or to let you know that in the same way that the spider frightened little Miss Muffet away, some of us in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, all across the world are in some way, shape, or form frightened by this spider that we will, liken to the COVID-19 pandemic. We were frightened. However, has some phobia, right, of small creatures, right. So we were all frightened by the pandemic. However, there were some persons who chose to be frightened like Miss Muffet and run away, while there were others who, though they were frightened, they tried to understand this creature. Where did you come from? What are you like? How can I work around you? And so I will walk you briefly through my journey as an educator when the COVID-19 pandemic came into existence in our side of the world. So, my journey. Of course, we all learned of the COVID-19 pandemic, and pretty much nobody or very few persons knew what they were going to do. Students, parents, teachers, everybody, what's gonna happen? No school, how will our kids learn, etc., etc. Now in Jamaica, we have some agencies, we have some institutions, some organizations that decided to take school online. So I was contacted by one of my education officers who asked me to be a part of this group called One-on-One Educational Services to offer online classes to some CSEC students. CSEC falls under CXC, which is the Caribbean's examination body. That's our examination body in the Caribbean. Now, I could have done several things. Remember now that this was new to all of us, just as how this spider was new to Miss Muffet. I could have said, boy, you know, I can't do it. I don't know how to teach online. I've never done this before. Instead, I decided to grab at the opportunity. So I said, you know, I'm not familiar with this thing, but I'm willing to give it a try. And please take note of that. Willing to give it a try. I had never done it before. And so went ahead. The Jamaica Teaching Council was a part of it too. They carried out, this is actually an agency of our Ministry of Education, also the National College for Educational Leadership. And what they did was they carried out a number of training sessions throughout the period. So they had training in using different tools, online learning tools, different platforms such as Zoom and Google Meet and all of, so a lot of training went on. It was a lot, I can tell you, but I tried my best to be involved in as many of them as possible because I wanted to equip myself. I did not want to be left behind. And so we learned of the different learning management systems and so forth. Now, Zoom was one of the things that I was introduced to only when the pandemic came. I had never seen, heard of, or used Zoom before. But pandemic came and I had to learn how to use it. Of course, I learned how to use Pout. It's an application that creates animations, which also helps to make your lessons very exciting and interesting. And of course, we have the good old PowerPoint, which some of you probably do not know. Some of you may know that the PowerPoint can do many, many things. You can make your videos, you can make your PowerPoints very interactive. You don't have to go through all the stresses and think, oh boy, online teaching, how am I going to manage, right? It's not that difficult, and we're here to show that to you and to walk you through it. So in all of this, I'm saying a couple of things to you. 4 E's for you. Engage, explore, evaluate, and extend. Let's look at those 4 terms. So of course, in engaging, you want to be involved in the different workshops, seminars, empowerment sessions. You want to collaborate with other colleagues. You may not be good at one thing, and so you want to, you know, communicate with other colleagues. How do you do so and so? Can you show me how to use the PowerPoint? Show me how to make a comic. Show me how to create a puzzle that my students can use. And it's really through collaboration that Lisa and I became so close, because we both had applied for the master teacher status, and that's how we met. And since then, wherever I'm doing a presentation, Lisa is there. Wherever she's doing a presentation, I'm there. And since then, we have always been working together. Where I am short, Lisa will help me up. Where Lisa is short, I will help her up. Collaborations. And of course, we have other colleagues too who assist us and we assist them. Maybe you have a lesson on a particular topic that I could use. We share and so on, because we all have to try to uplift and empower each other. Explore the different learning platforms. Don't just stick to the box that you're in. explore. I mean, don't become bombarded now, because if you should really go through, and Lisa will share with you too, some of the tools that you can use. There are hundreds, thousands, but you will just have to go through and see. So there are various learning platforms, there are different strategies and modalities that you can use to cater to the different learning styles of your students. Go ahead and try them out, test them out. That's what I did when I first learned of Zoom. I tried to set up an account. I got some of my students and I invited them in. I said, come on, my family members, everybody, tell me what you are seeing from your end. And let me see show me something on your screen. And that's how I became more and more familiar, accustomed, and comfortable with using the different platforms. Then, of course, as you try them, you want to evaluate. You want to see where you are comfortable. Is this user-friendly to me? Will my students be able to manipulate it very well? Does it meet my needs? Because though it may be a fun activity, it may not particularly meet the needs of whatever topic you are teaching or even the needs of your students at that time. So you want to evaluate. Then you really, really have to learn to extend yourselves. So though you may not know how to do something, we have to learn, and that's what we teach our students. We teach them to learn, to explore, to extend themselves, equip ourselves, because we don't want to be left behind. When the opportunities come, grab at them. Make yourself available. We know that everybody is busy and we will forever be busy. But I always say to my husband that we do the things that we really want to do. Now, though the pandemic was upon us, we still had everything else that we still had to do them. Teachers still had to keep track of the students' progress. We still had to assess the students continuously and provide feedback to our heads of school. The students had to complete their reflections. They had to complete the curriculum just the same, right? Because in our context, the students have to do a portfolio. And that portfolio should track their progress over the 2-year period. And these are also assessed as a part of their final exam grade. So we still had to do these things. Students still had to do their labs. And I'm going to show you in a moment how we were able, or how I was able to navigate and to get the students involved in doing their labs, though they were not physically in my presence. So the Zoom platform and the Google Meet was used. They were used on several occasions, but my preference really is Zoom because it has the feature of what is called breakout rooms. Now, what this does is it allows you to facilitate cooperative grouping with your students, so they can meet in private and you are able to go to the different rooms and see what they are doing. Google Meet facilitates that too, but you have to use an add-on or something which is a little bit more technical. So I prefer to use the Zoom. The teacher still acts as a facilitator. Remember now that the kids are not in front of you where you can physically touch them or anything, but you can still monitor their progress as they work. All right, and I'm going to show you an image of that very soon. The students were also allowed to use their smart devices, so they would record the processes that they're doing with when they're doing their labs, because we have to also bear in mind that just as the case for you, not all students will have ready internet access. And so we have to take that into consideration. So those students who are unable to join the Zoom in real time, they are allowed to do their recordings of their practicals that they're doing at home. And then those videos would be submitted, whether via email or via WhatsApp or whatever other means. All right, and of course, we still communicate and interact. Now, the students would also use their computer, use the different apps that they have on their phones to create their placement cards, their menu cards, and those things. Because remember, a lot of them may not have the materials at home to cut and to write up cards and so forth. So they were allowed to make them on their computers, and those were shared with me as well. Now, as the students watch what they have done in their labs, they would be able to do their reflections, which also form a part of their portfolio submission. I know I sound like I have it well all together. I want to say I have it locked, but then you may not understand what I mean by that. But I know you may think that we have it all together. We don't. We are still navigating, we're still testing, we're still trying so that we can figure out what works best with our context, with our students, and so forth. As a matter of fact, what I have started to do with my new set of exam students is that instead of them doing hard copy portfolios where they submit a physical folder, I have started the e-portfolio with them using Google Sites. And I mean, you can reach out to us. Feel free to reach out to us if you need some guidance in that regard, or anything that we are presenting on today. You may reach out to us for assistance. But that's what I've started to do with my students now, because in using the Google Meet as well, in using the Google Sites rather, they're also able to upload the videos of their labs and not just still pictures. So it does facilitate all of those little things. Hurrying on. All right, so when we're in the physical space, you will notice the image on the left, the students were able to work in groups. So where one student falls short, another may be able to help them up and so on. On the right, you will see something completely different. This is actually one of my students who had to do one of her exam pieces at home. No collaboration with peers. And so you can see she's still wearing her protective clothing, not necessarily in her school uniform though, but in her protective gear, headgear, and so forth. But she now would have to do all of these things on her own. Well, the exams are individually done anyway, but you know, when you're in the physical space, you could ask someone to assist you and so forth. But in your own space, you'd have to work on your own. Now, I mentioned to you the Zoom breakout room, and I'd like for you to just look at this very short clip where I created about six breakout rooms for my students. Now, this is very important because, of course, we know that there are some students who may not have the requisite tools and equipment to work with. There are some who may not want anyone to see inside their homes. And we have to appreciate that. We have to accept that. So the Zoom breakout rooms really facilitates that kind of privacy for each of our students. So each student is in a room by him or herself. He or she is working, and I go to the different rooms and I monitor what they're doing. So you can see, it's a very short clip, but you can see the students working. So no other student can see what that student is doing. I'm the only one, or if I decide to make someone else a host or co-host of the Zoom, then they could travel to the different rooms to see as well. But I was the only host, so I could walk to the different rooms, give my commendations, make my suggestions, ask my questions, and all of that. And the students are pretty comfortable with that, rather than in the one room where everybody's seeing them. This was a student working at home, and she sent me a little clip to show me what she was doing. She was making a fruit bowl rather, and she sent a little snippet of her video. So it is possible, colleagues, it is possible. It's new, but it is possible. We have to go the distance. If we want to achieve success, if we want our students to do well, if we want to equip ourselves for the future, for today, because the future is really today, if we want to go the distance, we can go, but we can't go the distance with too much resistance. We know that it's not so easy for some of us, but we can still learn. And the good book says in Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10, and this is the New International Version, whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead, where you are going, where I am going, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. In closing, I say to us all, be ready and be responsive. At this time, I will facilitate any concerns, any questions, any